So I am recording this, of course, right after the Saints game. It was a rough loss. Saints, of course, fell 17-19. They fought hard there at the end, of course, as usual. There was a lot of mistakes, but the team fought. Tyler Shough still performed really well. Rushing touchdown, passing touchdown. He still performed well, especially performed well to be still up there for Rookie of the Year. Of course, we'll see how the week looks for his odds and all that. But we'll kind of get more into that. So this is kind of, if you noted by the title of the video, it's a recap video, not a review video. But I'm still recording this after the Falcons game because kind of want to just do it. It'd be easier. Be easier just to do that. So I'm recording this after the this game, of course, that just happened. Falcons swept us, but it's fine. We swept the Panthers. They're in the playoffs. Crazy year for the NFC South. It was crazy year for the NFC South. Crazy year for the Saints. I mean, I'm not saying that. Of course, I was expecting this season to be a playoff contending season. I was definitely not. And even though it was rough to watch the losses that we ended up having, it was definitely not the season you want to see as a fan, as any sort of Saints, as any sort of NFL fan. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. But so mostly in today's video will be a recap video. Of course, I did the same thing with LSU. After their bowl game, I didn't do a bowl game review. I just went ahead and did a recap video. So that's kind of what I'm doing now. I mean, I talked a little bit about the game already. So before we get into the video, of course, as always, welcome to the BrewCrew channel. If you guys are new to the channel or haven't yet here on the BrewCrew channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell for future upcoming videos here on the BrewCrew channel. Do football content like this with the Saints and LSU. Do some wrestling content as well. No, it's been a while for that, but of course that will be coming back here on the channel probably in a little bit, maybe at some point this week whenever I get to it. But we're going to go ahead and just go into this video. It's going to kind of be the same thing as the LSU recap, where first we're just going to kind of go over, we're going to go over the season, how everything went, then we're going to go over the stats, and some final thoughts as well. So we're going to go ahead and just start off with how the season started. Of course, going into this season, it was a pretty, now of course looked like it was a really good draft because half of these rookies balled out. Tyler Shough, he's up for Rookie of the Year. Kelvin Banks, Jonas Sanker, and Quincy Riley, all first-team rookies. Hopefully, we get Kelvin Banks back. We'll definitely get him back. So at least it wasn't towards the end or towards like middle part of the season. So he played almost every game. If you don't know what we're talking about, Kelvin Banks, he went down with an ankle injury in this game against the Falcons. We had so many injuries coming into this game. I think if we would have had Olave healthy, we probably would have came out with this win. Not trying to blame it on Olave because he had an amazing season, but I'm just saying I think we probably would have pulled it out. But it is what it is. The season was how it was. I mean, even if we won, the season was gonna be the same way either way. So it is what it is. For that. But again, we start off the season, and coming into the season, we go with Spencer Rattler as the quarterback, because it was a quarterback battle between him and the rookie we drafted in Tyler Shough, who of course was sort of the shocker rookie quarterback drafted in this past draft that a lot of people didn't know was going to go to the Saints or was going to be this high of a draft pick, I think. But of course, he gets drafted by us, and it was a quarterback battle between the two. Of course, if you guys remember the videos I did during the offseason, I always kind of did go with Spencer Rattler because he had the more experience playing. He definitely played great in the losses he played in his rookie year, so I had sort of faith in him. And he had some pretty good performances, in the losses besides the Seattle game. Of course, we start off 0-4, and then finally against the Giants at home, we win. The pretty good performance by Rattler. And then we face the Patriots at home. We kind of get into sort of a close one with them, but they end up winning that game. Of course, we lost to the Bears, and then we go Bears, and then the Bucks again. And that, of course, would go on to be Spencer Rattler's final game as a starter. As even though, yes, the defense did only let up 23 points, we only scored 3. It was not a great game by Spencer Rattler. And so the next game against the Rams on the road would be Tyler Shoug's first start. Of course, the game wouldn't really go so well. We would be dominated in that game 34-10. And then everything started to change. Of course, get into that first game against the Panthers, and we just mostly controlled the whole game. Even though, yes, you look at the score, it was 17-7. Tyler Shough looked like a really great starting quarterback. Chris Olave, this was sort of, at this point, Olave was putting up some pretty good numbers, but then once Tyler Shough came in, Olave was becoming one of the top targets on this team. And it was a great game, great win. We got our second win of the season. We went into the bye. Come back after the bye, we, of course, struggle against Atlanta. And, of course, it's sad to say that we get swept by them, but it is what it is. The rivalry is always heated between these two, so it is what it is. But then we go up against the Dolphins, have a chance to win that, but then we fall in that one. But it was great performances by a lot of players. Olave still had a great performance. Shough still had a pretty good performance. And Devon Vele, this would be sort of his breakout game for Devon Vele. And then we go to play Tampa Bay, and that's where everything turned around for us a little bit. Tyler Shough became a big-time rookie quarterback and was starting to get in a little bit towards this game, and the game against the Panthers was starting to get into that conversation for Rookie of the Year after a 2-touchdown performance on the ground and bringing home an upset win over the Bucks, which was great. Then we had the next game against the Panthers. Panthers looking to not get swept by us. They were definitely the much better team, but even though with them having a 17-7 lead at one point, second half, game-winning drives again by Tyler Shough. We kicked the game-winning field goal by Charlie Smith. We win the game 20-17. Another win, second win in a row. We're like, oh, we're on a winning streak now. Then we dominate against the Jets, who were a much worse team than us, even though, yes, it was the Jets, but still an amazing performance by Tyler Shough, a great performance by Chris Olave with 2 touchdowns and over 100 yards, a dominant 29-6 win. And then the Titans game, we went back and forth in a rookie quarterback duel between Tyler Shough and Cam Ward. Another great game from Tyler Shough, proving that he is one of the top talks for Rookie of the Year. A great game from him. 34-26 final score. We get the win on the road. And then, of course, this other game, even though Tyler Shough still put up a pretty good performance, over 256 yards, a touchdown. He did have that costly interception towards the end of the game, but it is what it is. As a quarterback, he's going to have plays like that in his future, but that's just not going to represent him. That was his first interception, I believe, since the Buccaneers game, so that he went 3 games in a row with not an interception thrown, which is pretty good. Which is pretty good. So he threw his first interception in 3 games. We go downfield, score a touchdown, try the onside kick, doesn't work. Mostly showing a little bit. Falcons were the better team. Defense, though, stepped up. Defense kept us in this game. Defense played way much better in this game than they did against the Falcons in the first game. The coverage was definitely something that I kept wanting to figure out why, but of course we get the win. We get the win either way, and of course we finish off the season with a 6-11 record. One more win better than last season's 5-12 record, but it is what it is at this point. So, it is what it is at this point. So now we get into the point of the video where we're going to go over the sort of final stats a little bit here. Final stats a little bit here. I guess the final stats aren't really official yet, so I'm guessing, because I'm pretty sure first Tyler Shough came in with 2 touchdowns. I believe with a touchdown here, he does end off the season with 9, but I think he does end off still with over 2,000 yards passing, and 10 passing around that 10 passing touchdown mark. And I believe around 5 or 6 interceptions as well. So not a bad rookie season from him, especially in the 10 games, technically, that he ended up playing. Spencer Rattler, in the 9 games that he played in, he had over 1,586 yards passing and 8 touchdowns, also 5 interceptions as well. Of course, running was not that great. Of course, Alvin Kamara, in the 11 games he only appeared in, 131 carries, 471 yards, and the 1 touchdown. Devin Neal, in the 10 games he appeared in, 206 on the ground with 57 carries and 2 rushing touchdowns. Shook on the ground had 152 yards and 2 touchdowns. Probably more because he did, or 3 touchdowns, I should say. So I think everything here on ESPN is not fully changed, because he technically now has 3 rushing touchdowns, but still not a bad year. Of course, we will say Chris Olave's stats, though. As of course he didn't play in this game, but of course praying for him to still continue to get healthy. Had 100 receptions on 156 total targets, with 1,163 receiving yards and 9 touchdowns, all career highs for Chris Olave. Hoping for him to be healthy. Devon Vele, in the games he played in, was great. 293 yards and 2 touchdowns. Can't wait to see how maybe in the next season we'll go with him. What about Juwan Johnson? The stats will probably change at this point, but coming into this game, 74 receptions, 828 yards and 3 touchdowns. I think he actually is at that 76 mark. Joins Jimmy Graham for the most receptions by a tight end in the season, with of course around 76, because I think he had a couple catches. I think he did not hit the 900 mark and just had the 3 touchdowns, but still he was a marked top 10, top 5 in the touchdowns, in receptions and yards. And what about this? Of course, Demario Davis, over 100 total tackles, no doubt about that. 4 sacks as well, 6 tackles for loss. Interception leaders, of course, was Coley McKinstry with 3 interceptions. He also ended the season with 13 pass deflections. He had a couple, of course, today as well. The rookie Jonas Sanker also had 2 interceptions and 6 pass deflections. Justin Reed had 2 interceptions and 11 pass deflections, which was the second most on the team. Quincy Riley had a couple pass deflections today as well. I think that got him into around the 10 range. Of course, all-rookie team, first team all-rookie, of course, for him. And then, of course, we go to sacks. I mean, who would have thought that despite the season we had, we would end up having 2 defensive linemen with double-digit sacks? Cam Jordan gets double-digit sacks, I believe, for the first time in his career in a couple years, but then actually breaks the record, another Saints record for himself, with the most seasons with double-digit sacks by a Saint, with his 7th season with double-digit sacks, and then Chase Young, his first season in his career with double-digit sacks. I mean, who would have thought that we would have double-digit sack defensive linemen with how this season has gone? I mean, really, of course, from these two players. Before we get more into them, Carl Granderson had a really great game today. He adds on. He had only 4.5 sacks coming in. He had the most sacks by any of the defensive linemen in the first 4 games, and then after that, he kind of just fell off. And Granderson, 2 sacks today. He gets around to that 6, I believe, 5.5, 6 range, I believe, for sacks, which is really great. Which is definitely really great for him as well after a really great game. Cam Jordan also had 13 tackles for loss. I think he had a couple more as well. And Chase Young, I believe, also, I think, got into the double-digit tackle for loss range because he was everywhere in this game. He had a really great game against Kirk Cousins and Bijan. Defense all around was great against Bijan Robinson after, of course, a great game from him last week against the Rams, I believe it was. So, a great game from this defense overall. But going back to Cam Jordan and Chase Young, you got to think about this. Cam Jordan came into this season, there are of course talks, and still talks right now of this being his final season. But then there's also talks of him potentially maybe having one more run. I honestly wouldn't mind if this man does get a just 1 more year extension. I don't care if he gets 2 years. But if he wants to end his career like this with double-digit sack season, then he would. But if he wants to come back for one more run, I would love it, and I would love that. He also had 2 forced fumbles and a fumble recovery as well. But then Chase Young, probably the other biggest story on this team. He started off the season missing like the first 5 games of this season, and then he comes back and he just balls out. He's balled out for so long. He also had 2 forced fumbles and 3 fumble recoveries. One of them was a strip sack fumble last week against Cam Ward, returned for a touchdown. One of the best plays this season, despite yes, our record. With us having this record, there were so many good things, though, that happened, especially the second half of the season. You had Chris Olave performing at elite level, and with him being healthy, if he can go a full season being healthy, even though, yes, he technically was, he just missed this game because he had that blood clot that was caught. Again, praying for him to be healthy, and hopefully we'll see him again. But then also you got these other players who could step up, like Devon Vele, you have Devin Neal. Sadly, both of them had to miss the season because of injury. And you potentially have your quarterback of the future, and you're like, as a Saints fan, you're like, what is the season going to look like with this kid for a full season? A full season, healthy. Like, a lot of people are saying the Saints could be a dangerous team to look at when they have a healthy squad and a good, still pretty young quarterback in tylershough. Like, there's that. And then, of course, you have this defense that not only, yes, could have a returning Cam Jordan, you could also have a returning Demario Davis, which is going to be great. And then Chase Young, who balled out today, and being under this Brandon Staley defense, well, who knows what next season or the next few seasons will go. Another thing is, him and even Juwan Johnson have balled out this year and have proven why they were signed and they were extended. And I have praised Juwan Johnson, and I have liked Juwan Johnson with times with us. Yes, he's made some mistakes, and yes, he had the fumble to start the game, and didn't really pop off this game really as we thought he would, because we thought he would. I mean, he had a couple great catches. He had that amazing one-handed grab, which was really great, but he didn't really pop off that we thought he would, be the top target for tylershough. But it is what it is, because he still had a great season. And even though, yes, he didn't have that many touchdowns, it doesn't matter, because, like, tight ends, as I said before, sometimes don't really have a lot of touchdowns a season. You rarely see a season like a Jimmy Graham or a Tony Gonzalez or and Antonio Gates to have close to double-digit touchdown seasons as a tight end, And maybe with a quarterback like tylershough and an offense like this, you could possibly see that in Juwan Johnson. Possibly. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. But then also on this defense, you got some great young guys. Cooley McKinstry, yes, he had 3 interceptions. But he led the team in pass deflections. He was locked down this year. He was locked down a little bit against Atlanta. Alontae Taylor, he has still had mistakes, but he can still be a valuable asset to this defense. Justin Reed, when healthy, could be as well. And then let's not forget, you got Sanker and Riley, who are first-team all-rookies, who were key contributors as well to this defense. You have them healthy, this defense could be scary in a few years. That's just me saying that, especially next season. But, of course, there's a lot of good stuff. And then, of course, one of the big stories was the kicking. We start off with Blake Grupe, and he was just not getting it done. His time with us in the 11 games he played, he was 18 for 26, 69% on his field goals. His longest was 54. He was only 7 perfect from 20 to 29. He was 2 of 5 from 40 to 49 yarders. And those are usually makeable for most kickers. And was 3 from 6 from 50. Then you bring in Charlie Smith. 5 games he played in through the rest of this season. He was 11 of 14. He did miss one a day, so technically 11 for 15. 78%, probably still around the 70% mark. Higher than that. And he had a long of 57, which was last week against Tennessee. And guess what? Most of his field goals came from the 30 to 39 range to 50. And he did have a couple misses. He was 3 for 5 from 40 to 49, but he had one more made than Blake Ruby. But let's look at the 50 plus. He was 4 from 5. That means actually he did miss one from 50 this game, so he's kind of going to be 4 from 6. But still, he made 4 50-plus yard field goals in a 5-game span. You got your kicker in Charlie Kirk. You potentially have your kicker in Charlie Kirk. And I can't wait to see how his career will go. I think that could be a good ending point. Again, I'm looking forward to this season. There was some great moments, but still questionable moments from Kellen Moore. Of course, after this season, again, not going after his head. I was not going to go after his head of wanting him fired when we were 1-9, 1-8. Because he's a first-year head coach, and most of the trouble is just with the team. It's not with him. So I'm looking forward to see how year 2 will go with Kellen Moore. How year 2 with Kellen Moore will go. How year 2 with Brandon Staley will go. Year 2 with this offense. And again, you got your quarterback with tylershough. You don't need a quarterback for this draft. Out of this draft. But of course, we'll get more in the draft when we get to the draft and we get closer to that point. And so yeah, so I think this is kind of going to be a good stopping point for this video, for this recap video. So again, it was a rough loss to end off the season. Would have loved to end off with a 5-game win streak. But the Falcons get the job done. They help the Panthers get in the playoffs and win the division. We finished with a 6-11 record, but even though it is 6-11 and it's only one more win than what it was last year, it feels better than it was last year because of the 4-game win streak and you knowing that you found your quarterback of the future. And with your quarterback of the future and a healthy offense and a healthy defense and a healthy team all around, and your key players especially healthy, and you see how you do this offseason and this draft, could be a team to watch out for this next season. I'm hoping. I'm hoping. So I'm looking forward to see how the offseason goes. I'm looking forward for the draft. Looking forward to see how the offseason go, and definitely looking forward to next season. Let me know you guys' comments down below about how you guys thought about the season, what you guys thought about other stuff with the season, the games, the players, anything like that. Let me know in the comments down below, and let me know your guys' thoughts on what you guys are looking forward to for this upcoming offseason, the draft, and also potentially for next season as well. And so yeah, so okay, I'm gonna go ahead and end it off here. If you guys made it all the way to this point in the video as well, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, you guys know as always, hit that like button. Also hit the subscribe button and the notification bell for future upcoming videos here on the BrewCrew channel. And with that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing, wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.